So Tap Africa was started with the idea or with the vision of engaging young people, particularly those between the ages of 13 to 19, on learning about challenges affecting their communities, and then inspiring them to start taking little steps towards changing what they feel is not right in their communities. And so how that has evolved is that we have been able to create projects in the past, like on gender-based violence and youth unemployment, where we involve those young people between 13 and 19 as the primary beneficiaries, but also as implementers. And then the other aspect is that the projects are also designed and implemented or facilitated by young people between the ages of 19 and 27. So you would find most of our volunteers have been around that age. And so some of the girls and the boys who have volunteered or who have been beneficiaries of our projects before have ended up coming back as volunteers in the projects. So our main projects have been around gender-based violence with regards to how that affects teenagers 13 to 19 years old in informal settlements like Kibera, Mathare, where we started, and then in rural settings in Machakos, in Kirinyaga, and other areas. And then one of the projects we did was called Teens with Stars to End Violence. This was more of an advocacy campaign where teens would weave stars. You see, now they are the primary beneficiaries. So they would weave stars symbolic of lighting up the darkness of violence in their lives.
Okay. What are some of the challenges you face within your line of work?
I think mainly is access to funding, particularly if you are a small entity. You find all sorts of barriers, all sorts of challenges with regards to fundraising. Particularly our ICT's projects has faced a major setback in fundraising, getting laptops. It's sort of like funding organization donors would prefer to give laptops and those kind of basically funding to channel it to a bigger organization rather than a small and grassroots kind of organization. So I think that's a major challenge. The other thing is, particularly the ICT's project, what we found is going to the communities. Sometimes these communities do not necessarily understand the benefit of some of the solutions that you're bringing on board. For example, with ICTs in rural areas, people still don't feel like this is so important to them or is an immediate need. And so you find basically there is a negative attitude towards it. So
just highlight on, you said you're mainly trying to reduce gender-based violence in areas such as Mathare and Kibra, right?
Yeah.
So through your projects, you've told me that the feedback you get back is how you are able to tell that you've been your projects are being productive, right? Yeah. But then how do you know that these projects are actually, do you know they're reducing gender-based violence, or I don't know, how do you measure that? Your objective versus what you do?
Yeah. I think one of the ways is what we focused on is getting young people to first of all understand what is this about, where does it stem from. So it's very much at an individual level. But when you start hearing young people in communities saying, this is what I have been through, and they have started communicating the clearly articulating what they have seen. And these are young people who could not have spoken before about what happens in their households. When you start seeing that, then now you're creating the right impact. So that's how we are able to measure. Are they opening up? Are they starting these conversations? Then the next step is, can they voice out and tell parents, educate their community members, organize matches, for example, in Kibera, and for other people to come and watch, and then they communicate these messages to them. So when they do that, and when they are also willing to do that, because this is a very sensitive topic, then you clearly start to see this is happening. But the biggest of them all is now when you see them starting little initiatives.
In 1 minute, Gladys, please advise anyone who wants to come up with a project or a program for social change.
I think I would say just take the dive and do it. It's never, and no matter how long you wait, maybe to get skills or to get money, look, you just have to do it. It's never about money, it's never about skills. Somehow you'll get people to help you with it, and it will happen. Our current initiative is a meal and book initiative. We're responding to support 45 girls in Kibera with a meal and book packages and sanitary pads and liquid soap. And I'll tell you, we did not have money when we started, but somehow we've gotten funding from different people. So I think for me, it's all about that. Take the dive, do what you think is doable, what you want to do,